This is the name Bhopal. I think many of you have seen the Bhopal region. It is officially known as the capital of Madhya Pradesh state. Now moving on to the incident which happened in Bhopal, the date was 3rd December 1984. This was a date which many of the people even today can't forget this date. The time was around 1 to 3 p.m. AM. The early hours of 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. Many of the people, all the people have slept happily. The second day night, they have done their works carefully and they have slept. The midnight passed away, and in the early hours of 3rd December, we got suddenly a big blowout of the gas, which is in the company of located in the Bhopal region, and which have taken away the lives of many people. And even today, we have many people struggling for their better standards of living in this Bhopal region, popularly known as Bhopal gas tragedy. The Bhopal gas tragedy has been a live evidence of mismanagement by any of the industries, or if the natural resources or the industries are not managed properly and proper care is not being taken, that would result in the loss of thousands of people's lives, and would also impact the conditions of the day-to-day lives of the people, those who are living in that kind of regions. Now moving into the fact of what happened actually in Bhopal gas tragedy, we have a company of chemical industry which was established by Union Carbide factory. This Union Carbide factory was owned by a group or a person who lives in USA. It is a multinational company. It has branches at various countries, and it has one of the branches located in the Bhopal region. Now moving into the fact, a multinational company has certain rules and regulations which has to be implemented, and the safety measures has to be taken. This factory is located into the nearby location of the people, where it is accessible to the people of less than 5 kilometers of distance. Actually in USA, if you want to establish a company of this kind of nature, of a chemical conditions or a chemical factory, you have to establish it minimum 80 kilometers away from normal people's living region. So you have to maintain a distance of 80 kilometers away from the normal human settlement to maintain an industry like this. But in a country like India, where we have our own rules, laws and regulations, where we have formed our own constitutions by studying various other constitutions, we have given the permission for them to establish this kind of factory at very short distance where the human settlements, villages, cities and towns are located. And once the incident has taken place, the government could not provide any kind of serious steps against the company, the management, or towards the victims. It can't provide even the compensation also very clearly. Even today the compensation the people are struggling to get their compensation. Let us discuss them in point by point. See here, the proper management could not be met at the gas tragedy situation, so it escalated the issue and we have seen the dangerous scenario. Now as soon as the incident happened, the people, those who were the victims, could not get proper medical treatment. Lack of proper medical treatment created loss for many thousands of people. In a country like US, where if any this kind of incident happens, the company bears the entire loss and cost of the treatment for a particular person who is injured because of this kind of tragedy. But here we don't get anything, this kind of things, and the steps to ensure them the proper medical treatment were taken a very later moment of time, where the golden time or the precious time has been completed. Many of them lost their lives at that point of time. And moving on to the second point, the compensation. The compensations were paid only at the local standards of Bhopal region, where they were paid only in mere thousands, not according to the standards of the multinational company. Here you have to bear or compensate the loss of people with certain amount. It does not mean that a person can be bared or equalated with an amount, but to considerable extent, because a family depends on a person, either he is a boy or a girl, to a certain period of time. So in order to compensate the loss where they have lost a member of the family, they have to be assured with certain kind of amount which is granted for them, so the rest of the family members can hold on and live their life at least to some period of time as a remembrance of the person who has died for them, and they would be expecting some kind of contribution for the family also. But this also was not made properly according to the multinational company rules and regulations. It was only calculated on the local conditions of the Bhopal people. And moving on to the criminal action, we could not take any action against the management of the carbide factory. The carbide factory incident has escalated many issues, because whether India is a sovereign nation or not, because when we gave the flow of foreign currency or the foreign investments coming into us, when the MNCs are entering into our land, we are not able to corrupt them or sustain them or mold them to our rules and regulations, because we are not binding them to have any certain rules and regulations. We are very happy to welcome any MNC with very few restrictions which are not at all acceptable at that point of time, because if any incident happens like this, we can't even question them or we can't even ask them to answer any of the points here. And for many years, Government of India could not initiate any action against the Union Carbide factory. Later the actions were taken, but even then the owner of the carbide factory stays in USA, so we can't even arrest him because our laws cannot be binding on him. This is one tragic thing, even today we are facing it. And moving on to the next, what are the other steps that should be taken in order to prevent these kind of scenarios, these kind of situations, these kind of incidents would not happen further? Even today, we are not assured or guaranteed that this kind of incidents would not occur again and again, because we have seen the people here, and today also the Bhopal people are asking for justice, the proper compensation to be meted for them, and the proper things to be addressed for them. Whoever lost their lives, the families should be accompanied either by the job or a certain amount of fair compensation for them, which would meet or equate the loss. Anyway, we can't equate the loss of any human being, but at least to a sustainable level, we should try to get it some requirement for the people here. But and moving on to the reality here, even today we are not assured like whether we can provide a proper security for the people, or when we are establishing an industry, whether we can assure that this kind of incidents will not happen. We have seen an example in Tamil Nadu, Kondalkolam project, where people have raised this kind of fears and prejudice against the government of Tamil Nadu, asking for not to open it in between the people's regions, and at the same time assure us whether the proper safety measures are taken or not. People have even moved to Supreme Court asking for the justice. Supreme Court has warned the government to take the necessary steps, and then the company was started, the nuclear power plant was started. In this way, this moment of Bhopal gas tragedy has created awareness among the people to ask about the environment. What is going to happen for the environment? If any of the situations are going into turn into worst, what would be the next requirement? What are the alternatives that you are taking? What are the next solution, amicable solutions that you are going to take? All these things were discussed in this point of Bhopal gas tragedy as a background. We have discussed one of the same incidents which happened in Chernobyl, where Russia also failed to get the solution for this one. So we have to remember very carefully that any incident, if it happens, we should be prepared for us with the preventive measures whenever it is necessary. We can't say that we will provide prevention when the incident happens, because we don't know when anything is going to happen. And later the major developments was the Union Carbide factory was later owned by the company of Dow. Now when the Dow company has owned this property of Union Carbide factory in the world, Dow company came up with an initiative that they are going to provide the ownership or sponsorship for the Olympics. Dow Olympics, they started to give the name of the Dow Olympics in London, which escalated the entire globe their dissatisfaction that Dow company does not have the moral value to hold this kind of elections or this kind of games which are going to be conducted here. And Olympics is considered as a symbol of 5 continents, and all the different nations of the 5 continents come together and fight for their medals in the Olympics. It's like a war open to all the competitors, and Dow, which is hands are filled with red color blood, which is of the Indian Bhopal gas tragedy incident, was binding on that, and they were not providing any necessary compensations for them, or they were not feeling sorry for the actions or misplacement of the management or anything. So the entire people in India as well as in the Asia all raised their objection that Dow cannot be a sponsorship for the games like Olympics. Immediately they have withdrawn the agreement which was signed between them. In this way, people started to become conscious and started to ask questions against the environmental safety. At the end of the day, environmental safety is nothing but our assured safety.